Shutter Sports Refresh, the show that brings you all of the best news in sports from the past week. I'm your host, Lucky Roberts, and let's get right into it. We'll kick things off this week with something we don't usually cover here on the Refresh: boxing. On Saturday night, two huge boxing names in Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford took each other on while the event was live streamed on Netflix, which is unusual for a boxing event that would normally be on pay-per-view. These two fighters have had legendary careers. Crawford is 42-0 in his career, and Canelo was 63-3-2. They clashed in the middleweight championship fight, and ended up being Crawford who took the win by decision. Congratulations to Crawford on winning this massive fight, which will likely go down as one of the biggest in boxing history. Move on to our regularly scheduled slate of sports, starting things off with some football. The biggest game in the NFL this week was the Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia took home the win during last year's Super Bowl, and they took home the win again this week, 20-17. The Chiefs were able to keep things close in the fourth quarter, but the Eagles ran the clock out and didn't give them a chance to tie the game back up. This loss marks the second loss in 2 games for the Chiefs, now 0-2 on the season, which is the worst start they've had as a franchise since 2014. They'll have to fight now to see if they can get back into playoff contention. Moving on now to college football, the biggest matchup this week was between number 5 ranked Georgia and number 15 ranked Tennessee. Things were close in the fourth quarter in this huge long-running rivalry. It was all tied up at 38-38. Tennessee had a relatively easy field goal kick for the win, but they miss it, and the game ends up going to overtime. Tennessee ends up making a field goal to go up 3 in overtime, meaning Georgia needed to score a touchdown to win. Unfortunately for Tennessee, that's just what Georgia did, as they took home a win 44-41 in a crazy game. Let's move on now to the MLB, as we're just 2 weeks away from the playoffs. Here's a breakdown of how the standings are looking. We'll start in the American League, where the Blue Jays are still atop the AL East and the American League as a whole, holding that playoff spot. In the AL Central, the Detroit Tigers are holding their playoff spot pretty well as well, as they're leading the division by 6.5 games. In the AL West, it's the surprising Seattle Mariners, who after fighting for a wild card spot last week have soared into the top spot in their division, going 9-1 in their last 10. They overtook the Houston Astros, who right now hold a wild card spot in the American League. The other AL wild card spots are currently held by the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The Rangers and Guardians are close behind. Moving on to the National League now, 2 teams have actually already clinched a playoff spot: the NL East leader Philadelphia Phillies and the NL Central leaders Milwaukee Brewers. NL West, it's the Dodgers and Padres still battling it out, but right now the Dodgers have the lead. That means the Padres currently hold a wild card spot along with the Cubs and the New York Mets. The San Francisco Giants, Diamondbacks, and Cincinnati Reds are all still within fighting distance. The playoff race is ever changing, so be sure to come back to the Refresh next week for more updates. Let's move on now to some European soccer and the standings updates there. In the Premier League, Liverpool stands as the only undefeated team left at 4-0. Their top player in the league, Mo Salah, has been playing in top form as per usual. In La Liga, Real Madrid is the only other undefeated team. They also have 12 points. Their best player, Mbappe, leads the league in goals so far. In League 1, PSG also with 12 points, and their best player is Bradley Barcola, leading League 1 in goals. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich are undefeated at 3-0. They've also been dominant. It's very similar teams each and every year in soccer. They're 9 points on the board, mostly thanks to their best player, Harry Kane, who has scored a ridiculous 5 goals in just 3 games so far. Serie A, Napoli and Juventus are both undefeated with 9 points. The first match day of the Champions League goes down on Tuesday, so stay tuned for that. And one last piece of news this week: the Eurobasket tournament for basketball is finished up as of yesterday. The winner of the tournament was Germany, who took down Turkey in the finals with an 88-83 scoreline. Germany is full of NBA players, but it was Dennis Schroeder who took control at the end of the game for his team. He isn't too well known as an NBA star, but he's made quite the career for himself over the years playing for his country of Germany. Congratulations to Schroeder and Germany for the win. And that's it for this week's episode of the Shutter Sports Refresh. I've been your host, Lucky Roberts, and I hope you learned something today. You can check me, Shutter Sports Media, and the writer for this episode, Finn Noel, right here. Thanks for watching.